woman. She was she had children, but what it was is we had something coming called the bedroom tax, right? And you guys in the UK listening, you know what I'm talking about. Don't play. You know what I'm talking about. Bedroom tax. They brought that in so that basically if you lived in a 3-bedroom house or apartment that was council owned, it wasn't your property, they started to say you had to pay because obviously you had like an extra room. But hold on, some people have children that don't live with them all the time. Some people are disabled and they need that extra room for their equipment and things like that. And the government started to charge them, and basically it was coming out of your benefits. So the woman, she turned around and she said, well, I can't afford this extra money. And they said, well, you have to move. And she said, all right, fine, move me. But they said, no, we ain't got nowhere to move you to. So she was stuck in this house with the bedroom tax hanging over her. She was on benefits. She couldn't find a job. I think she may have been disabled in some way, but I can't remember. But basically, she was taking money out of her benefits, which, trust me, it's not a lot anyway. She was already struggling. They piled on the bedroom tax onto her. She couldn't afford it. And then she was not eating because she was trying to pay this bedroom tax. And she told them, if I to pay the bedroom tax, I have to not eat. So, and if I don't pay the bedroom tax, they're going to chuck me out, because she would have been in rent arrears effectively, and they would have evicted her. So, you know what she did? She killed herself. But she left it before she killed herself and committed suicide. She left a note and she addressed it to the government saying, the reason I've killed myself is because of this bedroom tax. And you know what turned out later on? Because her kids couldn't take her in because they didn't have enough space, and it turned out later on that she had wrongly been told to pay this bedroom tax. So she didn't even need to be paying it. And if she'd have been alive, she could have fought it, because there was a particular law that had been overlooked at the time, and it turned out that if you've been in your property since before 1994 or something like that, I can't remember the exact rule, you don't have to pay it, you're exempt. And she didn't know this, and nobody told her, and it wasn't common knowledge, because they wanted to squeeze people for the money. So after she died, this came to light. Can you imagine? She killed herself because she couldn't afford the bedroom tax and she couldn't eat, and she said, well, I'm just going to give up. She goes, because I just can't live. It's catch-22. I mean, how sad is that?
And there are people that are all around the world that are going through this in the United States. They're in the UK. They're in London proper. I mean, it's a sad thing, but that's part of what recessions do, and that's part of what the responsibility, in my opinion, of the government is, so that we are given opportunities to be employed. We are given opportunities to make money, or to be entrepreneurs, or to start radio stations, or to be singers.
This is the thing. This is why I'm on Twitter. People laugh at me, but I'm on Twitter and I'm always, saying, can you do this? And why haven't you done that? And blah, 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 blah. Because it just frustrates me. I know as a person that I don't want to be sitting at home on benefits myself. And if you could just find, they say you just need something to help you. Mm-hmm. Some people just need a little helping hand and they will fly. Absolutely soar. But until they get that little helping hand that just opens the door, they can't kick it open, can they? So they're constantly trapped. And this is why they say that living on benefits is like a trap, because you get dependent on that little pathetic amount of money, because you feel like if you get depressed enough, you feel like you can't get out of this trap. It's a cycle. And then it becomes the parent, then the child, then the grandchild is all on benefits. Or some people will end up having loads and loads of kids just to claim the benefits and have a supposedly quote unquote easy life. We have documentaries on this all the time. I don't know if you have that type of thing in the US, but we have it over here all the time. The UK people know what I'm talking about. Benefit Street.
You're listening to another edition of the Ask Avani Show Best Of on the Get Global Network.
This week's topic is almost kind of like a follow-on, because I realized that working from home, obviously, because the way the recession has been, it's kind of crazy. People can't find work. So what are they supposed to do? I mean, if you could find a job working from home, I'm just curious, would you want to work from home? Even if it's not full-time, even if it was like, just a couple of days a week, or, just enough for you to be able to get that work-life balance. What do you think, K-Rose?
Well, I'm one of the fortunate people, I guess. I've been working out of a home office setup and situations for several years, over around 14, 15 years now.
Oh.
And even in the United States, that's not a commonplace thing. It became more commonplace over the last I would say maybe 5 years or so.
Okay.
But that, for the most part, is because of the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Connectivity.
Exactly.
That's why it has become a little easier.
You say a little easier. See, now I have to interject here and just say, people, again. See, this is the wonders of technology. I am calling in, doing the show, the Ask Avani Show, from England live. Now, I know you don't believe me, but I'm serious. People don't believe this. I have to stress this. I really want to stress this. This is wonders of technology. It's via Skype, and we are live. It's just a few minutes past the hour. See, it's evening time in the UK here, isn't it? But for you, it's just gone after 3 in the afternoon, hasn't it, K-Rose?
Right, and most of the people that are listening to the show in the States, they are normally around this time. They're still at work. There are some people that are at home that are listening, but those people that are listening in the UK, you're fortunate enough to be at home right now.
Yeah, most people, unless they do an evening shift, because one thing that I have noticed over the years, most jobs used to be sort of like 9 to 5, but now, because we're becoming more and more of an international world, there's people that are going to be doing a late shift or an evening shift or an early morning shift. So it's almost going to be like, the world never really sleeps. We're not all more or less, in bed at the same time now. Everyone has different lifestyle patterns and sleep patterns, just to get on with their life and live. That type of thing does suit some people, the late shift or the early shift. Because if they got children, they want to take them to school or be there for them. That helps them. And this is the reason why I'm hoping that people will have an opinion on this. I've got this bee in my bonnet. I have to say, a bee in my bonnet. Because I just really think that the government, the UK government, should really look at this working from home as I think that because of technology, it's going to be the future. It's going to be the norm almost. And I've been saying this on Twitter. Anyone who knows, I do like to talk, as I'm sure you can tell. And I was saying that I think that this is going to be the thing that's going to be more and more of a normal thing. Technology is making it so that we can have conversations like this, and it doesn't even sound like we're, so many. How many miles is it? Nearly 5,000 miles apart, is it, K-Rose?
I think we came up with a little under 5,000, I guess, between
and
our
I mean, hello, that's not nothing to be sneezed at. You can't do that in a couple of hours.
Well, no.
So everyone can see that this is genuine. As you can hear, I am the UK, in the UK, talking the UK style, and you got K-Rose in America. So this is how it is. This is what technology is allowing us to do. So I don't see why working from home shouldn't become something that more and more people are, open to. Because it doesn't matter how big your house is. You could be fortunate enough to have, a lot of space, and you could have your own home office all in one room. Or you could just, allocate a corner in the, corner of your living room or something. And that could be the beginnings of your home office. And if you decide to move in future because your business or whatever it is doing really well. Because some people, unless they're already like more work for themselves, like self-employed, I think that they're probably, not going to be understanding how much I think that working from home would work, because the technology is here. I've done jobs in the past and worked from home where, because of the technology, and this is like 10 years ago, you could log on to a system and you could get the telephone calls coming through to you. It's like forwarding your mobile phone almost. It's right. That kind of sort of thing. But if there were more companies, things like receptionist jobs, admin jobs. Listen, guys, I worked in the city. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it. I know most people don't like their job, but anyone who's worked in the city knows that sometimes the city can be a little crazy with their behaviours, So most people will say to you, if they don't have to do a 9 to 5 in a little cubicle or whatever, they would rather not. So if you could do your job from home and not have to deal with any of the extra dramas, how much more productive would that be, don't you think?
Well, and you mentioned a couple of things there. When we talk about working at home, even in the United States, this isn't something that's really prevalent. I would guess, and I'll look and check in a few minutes, but I don't think it's more than maybe 5-10% possibly that have the opportunity to work at home.
Of course, yeah, I'm sure it depends on obviously the kind of work you do.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that everybody can do it because, it's common sense, isn't it? Depending on, your job and what you actually do. I'm thinking more things like that are more admin based, more telecommunications based, things where you don't need to be in an office because you could do this. If you have the equipment, a computer, the internet, telephone, you could do these things from home.
Right.
And yeah, or even if you only, like I said, even if you only did it, part-time so you could do the paperwork, just to catch up on some paperwork. Because the work-life balance, when you've got children, I mean, I'm lucky, I don't have children to worry about in that sense, but I can see some people that, they're always juggling and they've got to take the kids to like a nursery, like from 7 o'clock in the morning, and they don't pick them up till after 7, 8 o'clock at night sometimes. Poor children might get confused and start thinking that the nursery staff are their mother or father because they never see their own parents,
Right. So
I'm just thinking of something where if you could do it from home, then it would be easy. It would help you, kind of thing. But I've got to be in my bonnet about it because I know what it's like to be unemployed. And I know what it's like to have to go and sit down and talk to them damn people in the benefits office. Anyone who's ever had to do that, oh my days, you know how much they annoy you. They will annoy you and they'll be looking at you because you look good and you've kept yourself together. They'll be looking at you like, what are you doing here? You got money. You don't need to be looking at me. Because you look better than them, and you're the one who's unemployed.
Well, and let's talk about that again so that we kind of bridge the gap again between the two countries. The benefits office is a facility that is run by the British government, right? And it's run so that it gives assistance. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. So if you're unemployed, unfortunately... No, it's a good thing if it helps you, but at the same time, the money is so pathetic that it don't really help you, and in fact, it can become a trap. So you can be stuck in there, and there are some people, I know this is going to sound bad, but the people in the UK, you know what I'm talking about, because we've had Benefit Street and all these documentaries. There are some people who actually just sit at home and they'll just keep having children, because every time you have a new child, you can pick up certain benefits for them. So they start sitting at home and then they start having 5 kids, 10 kids, all these children, because they can pick up this extra money each time and that money goes through to I think it's to the child is about 16 or 18. So that's a lot of years of collecting. And if you've got a few kids, that starts to add up.
and see, we've had in the United States, that was a contentious point by politicians. I can remember back in the 70s and 80s where they felt that people did exactly as you mentioned. And is that something, and I had a discussion with DJ Haylove today on the Throwback Thursday show. How we got into this subject, I will never know. But we started talking about basically one piece of the puzzle was women having children, and women should have as many children as they want, of course. But when we talk about the world of benefits, did they prove that people had those children so that they could get more benefits so that they could stay home? Or
they can't prove it, because you can't say to somebody, we know this is why you've done it. But let's put it like this. I think a lot of people are going to think back and say, well, we don't think that she would have had or he would have had all these kids if they knew they was going to get capped at 2. With getting how much money that they're getting, because if they start, this is why they're trying to like clamp down on it now, because they realize, oh God, this person's got like 5 kids, this person's got like 8 kids. There's a woman on the I tweeted something the other day, and she's a mother of 8, and the children's father apparently has left her because he can't cope with her keep having all these children. And she's saying, I am being forced back into work. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know about force, because you've got all these children. And fair enough, listen, she's got a lot of skills. If she can have all these different children at all these different ages, doesn't she think that would help her to get a good job? Because that's organisational skills. You've got to be organised to get all them kids up and out in the morning, to go to school, to go to nursery. That's like a military operation. 8 children. Look, some people, they struggle with 1. So where's she going with 8 kids? And she said that, I think she said she gets about £2,000 a month or something like that. And she said that ain't enough. Because obviously children are expensive, and, they're rough and tumble, and they break things, and they need things quickly because they grow fast and everything. So I get that what she's saying she's getting is not enough. But at the same time, look, you're not rich. So why did you have all these kids?
Well, that would be considered to be a conservative thought process here in the United States.